What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another great episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. As always, thank you guys for listening and watching, and please go hit that like and subscribe button wherever you get your show. So today, before we get to our very special guest, let's kick it off with our usual Patreon question of the day. So, if you were going to have a DJ name, what would you name yourself?
Oh, I feel like this one has to have some thought into it as opposed to just throw it out right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
DJ name.
Yeah, or like what's a good nickname that you have that you always kind of liked?
I've never had a nickname that would be considered a DJ name ever in my life. I'm the opposite of anything DJ.
Right.
So
that's how I feel about myself. So that resonates.
I'm like a
Yeah, what do you got? You got
chill-
anything?
DJ Halty.
Oh yeah.
I've been Halty in the
Halty.
teams for so long. I can't even get rid of the nickname. So I got to embrace it now. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one. That actually flows and sounds like it would be a real DJ name.
How about moving violations?
Oh my gosh, I have one for you.
Tell me about it.
DJ Marky Mark.
No. Well, you know, actually, I probably could get away with that now.
You could.
That should be my handle. I should have that on the door.
Yeah. It needs to go on the door.
I feel if anybody's, well, he's got others that could probably attach themselves to that label, but because he's done a couple of movies that the guys.
But you are Marky Mark too.
Yeah. That's what I was going with that. I was like, I feel like I could really pull it off with no complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's so funny.
Okay, so the theme music, right when we talk about this, you need to start playing Good Vibrations, all right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I probably need to put some posters of him up back in the day, right? And the Calvin Klein and all that.
Right? Yeah, when he's flexing all the time.
What's up?
Looking jacked.
When you get out away from the teams and the community, you start to forget funny stuff like that.
Right? Yeah.
Because, you know, you got to get married and
You got to act
You gotta
right.
get
act right. They don't get
Yeah.
that kind of humor.
Right. Yeah.
Hunter, what's your DJ name, since you probably do have a DJ
Oh,
name?
man. Here we go.
Well, I'd probably go with Jaybird.
Why?
Jaybird.
Because Juno.
Yeah.
And then you just got to throw a little animal at the end, and
Yeah, but you're a tiger.
Yeah.
but you can't do J Tiger,
I don't know. I think you just did.
I guess.
Well, it could be like Juneau, that like U Tiger. No, that didn't work.
I don't know.
I'll have to think about that one. All right.
Didn't you have a DJ name
Yeah, what
like
was
your
your DJ
freshman
name?
year of college?
I was just Juno.
He didn't want to tell anybody.
Oh my gosh, whatever.
That's what that means.
It's somewhere back there on the social media.
This part will probably get cut out. You never know. All right, brother. Thanks again for coming in, man, and doing this.
Yeah.
And like I said, we start this out just with a little background on yourself. Background. Yeah. So most of the guys, it doesn't take much. Just a little where you're from, how you grew up, how you got into the military, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, thank you both for this opportunity. So yeah, I grew up on the Central Coast of California, in a small town called Los Osos. Grew up skateboarding, playing soccer, and kind of living in the streets a little bit. Even though it was a small town, there wasn't a lot of trouble to get into.
I feel like it's a good place to live, though, up there.
It is. It absolutely is. But as a kid who wants to get out and adventure, it's too small, it's too slow.
yeah.
And you want to go out and see the world, or at least I did, right?
So most people think California, they think L.A.
Yes.
Or San Diego or
San
Orange County,
Francisco
something.
yeah.
Never those in betweens, which there's a lot of land in between all of those
whole
cities
bunch.
that most people don't realize that.
Yep.
And I mean, I learned that only not even when I went into the military, but until we started traveling.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you think that all blends together. Like when you hear Orange County or you hear San Francisco, it's like LA's not in San Francisco. I mean, I've heard people say that. They don't know.
Yeah.
And where you lived is probably one of the most beautiful places.
It is still quiet. It is still little. It is still SLO, slow and easy going. It hasn't filled up yet. So hopefully it hasn't filled up yet. But yeah, I grew up, waving the red, white, and blue, and it's different, as you just said. It's very different than LA. It's very different than San Francisco. It's on the coast, like halfway in between. It's smaller towns, hardworking, blue-collar folks. And so that's where I grew up. And man, I wanted to get out and adventure. I was young and knew that if I was going to stay in that small town, there weren't a lot of options for me. And so a couple of things happened. I had a couple of buddies who had already joined the Marine Corps. And I thought, these guys look like they're having a great time. They're seeing the world. They're doing fun stuff. I can do that.
Brothers, sisters?
I have a half brother, and there's about 16 years between us. So there's some distance, and I'm older, so I was kind of already on my way out of the house a bit by the time he arrived, and then I have a half sister as well from my dad's side.
I got one of those too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody in the family in the military?
I had an uncle that was in the military. He was Army, like drove those M113s.
Okay.
Back around like desert storm.
Is that as far back as you've checked? Because we.
I haven't gone all the way back.
You haven't looked yet?
Yeah, I know there's more though. Yeah.
You can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you got one in there, when she checked our background and started pulling the ancestry up.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, man.
I feel like if you have the natural just urge and want to go into the military, it's in your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't know it and you just go back and dig, you'll find that they're in there. Like for Marcus and Morgan, they didn't really know a whole lot past, grandparents. And I went on a deep dive on ancestry.
Yeah.
And I was able to go back to the American Revolution, and every single generation starting back then, they have someone who fought.
Wow.
Like a direct ancestor.
Yeah.
So it was really, really cool to see that. Not in my family. We're like farmers, which totally fits me. Like that's my personality. So to me, it's like if you have that natural like fire in the gut kind of thing, then it's probably in your DNA.
Yeah. Well, growing up in the 80s, guns weren't like pink and purple and like
how great was
colors.
Growing up in the 80s and 90s?
Yeah, and so I was the kid running around with like tricolor camo on and realistic looking guns, playing guns with my friends.
Yeah.
In the the empty lots and in the tree lines and all of those things all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What year did you enlist?
So 1998. It was actually September 1998.
Oh,
yeah,
bro. Yeah. I mean, you couldn't time that any better.
I know.
I came in right after you. Like I did the delayed entry program. I was March 98.
Same. No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
That's amazing. So
right.
It was kind of the perfect place to be because we had already finished most of the training, and then we were in kind of in the middle part, still young. Mm-hmm. Right on. So when you joined, where'd you go?
So go to boot camp in San Diego. Yeah. First experience with all of that. Obviously, loved it. Went to School of Infantry after that, also on Camp Pendleton. So same kind of location, and then they sent me to North Carolina.
That's what I was going to ask you next, man.
Yeah.
Like, so did they even get you out of California? They did. They sent
immediately.
Okay,
as quick as they could. Yeah.
Lejeune.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah.
Right on. All right. How long were you there?
About my first 5.5 years in the Marine Corps. I was there as an infantryman in 2-8.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was great. It was exactly what I needed. I was an idiot. I thought I was tougher than I actually was, and I got to learn about life, people from other cultures, because you really don't know nothing growing up in a small town, and then you're thrown into a platoon or a team with guys from New York, guys from the South, guys from Texas, and all the different places, and you learn how to work it all out together and become a team.
Oh, we suffer.
And how to suffer well sometimes not, but yeah, it was really good.
I feel like we should write this down for the youth, like when you're looking for the guys like us.
Yeah.
Because when we're young and we're still growing, you really don't, you don't want to look at us, right? Because we're getting into the mischief and just cutting up and trying to get somewhere we don't even have any idea.
Right.
I think about that a lot now. I was like, thank God they didn't throw us away.
Seriously.
And when as soon as I got into the military, I was boom. I mean,
and it's like it's over half the guys in the teams too, that were
same thing.
They kind of grew up in the streets.
Same thing.
They were getting in trouble. How the heck did you make it through high school?
Right.
But you're still a really smart dude.
Right. Extremely smart. Matter of fact, when they get out, they're the ones that become doctors and accountants or go run Wall Street. All that. I mean, we got enough of us out now, and you can just hearing what our guys get into is amazing to me.
Yeah. Yep.
So where'd you go 9/11? Did you jump straight in?
I was in Kosovo on patrol when that happened. We were doing interdiction patrols on the Macedonian border.
Yeah.
And it was like our first real world thing. We were on a 6-month deployment. It was toward the back end of it. And so we kind of ran out of time, right? Because we were at the end of the 6 months. We were coming off the MEU, and the next MEU was already, spun up. They had gone through their entire workup, and they were coming out. So we ended up steaming home essentially, and so we didn't go anywhere right away. Yeah.
They release y'all, keep you locked down.
They did release us. Oh. Yeah, but there was a lot of, and so like I'm an E5.
Yeah, I was.
You're not getting a lot of information.
Right.
And there was all these murmurs of like, boys, be ready.
Yeah.
Like be ready.
They were screaming that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Because everyone wanted to go.
Absolutely.
That was talk about a dynamic shift, because it was the Vietnam guys were still around, or the Storms and the Shields. It was and they had been trained by the Nam guys.
Yep.
And then they had their war, which was a war, but not like this one.
Sure.
I remember when that jumped up, boy, it was a free for all.
Yeah.
Well, when you were in Kosovo, you were still in infantry, or by that point?
Yeah, I was still in the infantry.
When did you decide to move on to special forces?
So skipping ahead a little bit, so we it ties in.
Oh, okay.
Get back from that, and I turn around to the Kearsarge, and I'm like, I never got to get back on you again. I flip it off, right? A year later, I'm getting right back on the Kearsarge, and it's steaming us to Kuwait. Show up in Kuwait, we're all wondering, is this thing really going to happen? And sure enough, we go over the berm, and we go into Iraq during the invasion in 2003.
Oh wow!
And so
I was there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
no kidding.
Yeah, Kuwait, landed in Kuwait. Al-Assad, the whole thing, convoyed down, stayed at the Kuwaiti Navy base.
Man.
Before there was the apartments, and I think it's big now. It was just
I have no idea. I haven't been
back since.
Yeah.
But I remember being wide-eyed there too.
Yeah.
Brand new. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we get in this long conga line and just all the way up through the desert, the southern desert to Nasiriya.
I remember that.
And we pulled into Southern Nasiriya, and we got stuck kind of south of the city, and we're basically trading artillery rounds back and forth. The artillery.
Was this during the sandstorm?
It was just before it.
Okay.
It was just before it, and we got held up. Another unit caught up to us and was able to push through because they were in tracks and we were in trucks.
Oh.
They pushed into the city, and they took a rough one on it. But it would have been us in trucks, and it would have been way worse.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those moments where you're like, how does this stuff work out like this? Like, how do these little moments work out like this, right? And the first thing I remember pulling into Southern Nasiriya was the first time I had seen American vehicles with bullet holes in them on fire. American military uniforms, blood on them, helmets tipped over with, and I did, and that ended up being was Jessica Lynch's vehicles and all of that.
Oh my gosh.
I remember when that went down too.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So a couple weeks later, it's been long enough, I don't remember the exact timeline now, but it was a couple weeks later. So been in a couple my first gunfights. And I was like, yes, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. This is the coolest stuff ever. Like I'm exercising every piece of training I've ever gotten. We're proofing these old TMs and FMs from Vietnam that, okay, it's time to update.
Oh, that's exactly when that happened.
Oh my gosh.
That is exactly when that happened.
Yeah. We have learned some new stuff.
That's right.
Yep. And so I'm standing on a rooftop. I'm doing Firewatch, like legit Firewatch, right, for the first time. It's not just on a training thing. And I'm thinking, this is fantastic. I'm going to do this as long as they'll let me. And I hear, now looking back on it, I hear a C-130 pull into orbit over a set of compounds like northwest of me. And I'm in, the old, monocles, and I can't really make out a whole lot, but you can see kind of generally, all right, I got this thing whizzing around. Okay, I've been here, 3 weeks. I've seen some stuff, but I've never seen that before. And then I hear the thump of 47s, and then little birds, and then it just lights off, right? And I basically watch, and I had to figure this out afterwards, the raid to get Jessica Lynch back.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought, I love my job, and I already told myself I'm doing this forever, but whatever that was, I've got to go do that.
Right.
I don't know who they are. I don't know what that was, but I've got to go do that. And that just set me on a very different path at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where you're like, I don't know, for a girl, like looking at another girl and you're like, oh, what? I can totally see that too. Just
That whatever that emotion is, it happens to both sides.
Yeah, being enamored with someone and just wanting to achieve that.
It is, and they look good doing it. That's the coolest part. Really, like that's what got me. I was like, I don't know, because it captures you.
Yeah,
you can't get away from it after that.
Nope.
So at that point, like, how do you find out who that was or what they were doing, and how do you know how to actually transition into that?
Great question. Yeah, it was a lot of work. So this is pre-Google. This is pre a lot of things. So figuring all of that out once I got back was really hard to do, honestly. And you become very unpopular when you start saying things like, I think I want to do an inter-service transfer, because you find out very quickly that you're not going to get there in the Marine Corps, because MARSOC didn't exist
It's hard,
yet. And so you start saying things like inter-service transfer because I want to go be a SEAL, be a Green Beret, or take one of these other paths. And you can imagine how
we didn't know
E9
anything back then. No one knew
that.
anything about any special forces program. They kept that stuff undercover.
I mean, they were just movies, right?
Just movies.
Some of the best movies ever in the 80s, but they were just movies.
The best recruiting poster movie that ever.
Yeah. Yep. And so I started to figure it out. I got told no a whole lot. And I started working, and I'm still continuing to work on my career. I got an opportunity to go be a school of infantry, to go back and be an instructor, which I felt very passionate about, because now I was giving back, relevant. I'd been in the invasion. I could give back. And I figured I could use that as time to figure out what was next for me. So I took those orders. That put me back on the West Coast, which was great. And I'm still on this path. So now, because I'm on this path, I'm rucking more. I'm in the pool more because I'm really not a good swimmer. I've got to figure out fins, and the first time you figure out fins, you figure out how painful it is, and all the hip flexor problems and ankles and all the things. You got to work that stuff out, right, and just figure out how to suffer well.
That's it.
Right? And so I started working on all that, and right when I get done with 3 years of being an instructor, MARSOC starts to stand up, and I'm just right time, right place. I'm not really good at much except for just being in the right time in the right place. I mean, it just kind of works out.
I feel like it's a thing, though. There's guys like that.
It just works out.
How the hell? I don't know, man.
I was standing in line for chow, and now here I am. Like I thought I
didn't have anything else going on.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So I showed up at MARSOC, and it was the early days in really early 2007. I watched the guide on between Force Recon get taken away, folded up.
Hearing about all that, and you guys doing that?
The 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion, 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion get handed over. And the other thing that happened in that formation was there was, I want to say, like 3 Silver Stars, 4 Bronze Stars, and just all of these awards. And I thought, oh, I'm in a very different place now. This is a different group of people, and I need to. I'm here, and I need to be here, or probably somewhere up there. And so then the real work begins. Right? It's not getting on the team. That's not it.
You think it is? That's why there's levels.
Yeah.
Because if you understood how high, how it actually goes, it's kind of demoralizing.
Right. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Because once you start taking that ass whipping in the beginning, those little rewards, like while you're in too, like just a T-shirt change of the color and the T-shirt was like, oh yeah, that's accomplishment, right?
Good point.
Little rewards.
Yeah.
So what was training like for that? Since it was something.
It sucked for them because it was brand new. Go ahead, man. I can't wait to hear this because I remember when all this was going down.
That's what I'm saying. It was brand new. So did they model
I was pre-selection, and it was literally just, okay, all of these guys were Force Recon. You are now operator. You were already operators by our standard. You're some of the toughest, hardest dudes here already.
That's what we always thought on our side too.
Get after it. And so the original model was they were trying to model it with trailer platoons because that worked. That was the model they were using before. So I got pulled over to be a trailer platoon sergeant. So I hadn't made it on to being an operator yet. I was there to be a trailer platoon sergeant. So I'd have machine gunners and mortarmen to lock down the X, let the operators go in, and we, obviously take care of the cordon. And they found out through the first probably 2 or 3 deployments from like Alpha Company and Bravo Company, and I was in Charlie, that was not going to work. And so they changed the model, and they got rid of most of the non-reconnaissance folks, and I was just, again, right time, right place, and got lucky and was one of the few chosen who got, okay, you're going to get, if you fail anything, you're done.
Right, yeah.
And your school, you come back, okay, next school. go to the training package, and as long as you didn't fail, you got to stay. And people were just disappearing in the middle of the night, you know, and they were just gone.
This Veterans Day, we come together to honor all of the heroes who have safeguarded our freedom. I'd also like to give a very special thank you to Marcus Luttrell, our inspiring host, who continues to inspire me personally and so many others daily. To Marcus and all of the other veterans out there, Navy Federal Credit Union extends a profound gratitude. Your courage shapes our nation and inspires all of us. At Navy Federal, every day is Veterans Day. For over 90 years, they've proudly served the military community, also with many of the team members being veterans themselves. They're here to provide unwavering support, from resources like best careers after service to being top of the VA home loan lender list. They've got your back every single step of the way. Their 24/7 member service ensures that they're always there when you need them. Go join the #gratitude mission. Share your love and learn more at NavyFederal.org/veterans. Your service continues to inspire all of us at Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly standing with our veterans. Navy Federal is insured by the NCUA, an equal housing lender.
So with it being a brand new, I mean,
Who's teaching y'all?
everything, were you going to schools at the Navy or?
So we were using all the same schools that, you know, because those are all paid for and done with billet spaces and all those things.
Yeah.
So Army Jump School,
Okay.
Navy SEAL School, all the usual suspects.
The civilians have no idea about all this.
Yeah.
How that works and how we get jammed up for schools. And if you're coming in,
Those are essentially contracts that are written with time.
And always
you've got
fit
to
with them.
execute. You've got to execute those contracts now, whether you want them or not. And then you get to change them after a time period, and then you can write new contracts.
So when they were forming all of this and you getting to be on this brand new team, what was the actual mission statement of MARSOC? Because with the SEALs, they're more recon rescue. With Army, they've got their own, you know, everybody has their own thing. What was the Marines kind of mission statement?
Don't screw it up. That was literally it. Internally, was like, we just made it on to the team.
brand new.
Right.
There's no way they could have screwed that up.
You're the new guy.
New guys, right? So even
as a command,
you
you're
can't
the
even
new
plan
guy.
for it. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Because if you do, that would drive you crazy.
Be professional. In
Everyone was
everything that you
watching.
do.
Everybody watched them because they were. And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason when SOCOM spun up and y'all didn't get into it is because the head general was like, "Hey, all Marines are special forces." And we're like, "Okay, Roger that. You guys got your own deal." And then when we kept going and kept going and getting more advanced, you had to show up.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Literally. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it was that simple.
That's what we heard. That's what we heard.
Yeah.
Because the Marine Corps is different. And I want to make that perfectly clear to every civilian that doesn't know this.
Yeah.
Like there's Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, and then there's the Marine Corps. They're completely different than everybody else. Everyone knows that. Right? So when
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Always.
I even know that.
Dude, I mean, you can tell by the way they walk, the way they look, the way they carry themselves. It's a mentality. Like once they become one, you graduate out of Marine Corps, you're completely changed for the rest of your life. Can't get out of it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. All true. Yep.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we had lots of Green Berets coming onto the compound. We had SEALs coming up from Coronado coming onto the compound, showing how to do certain things, helping us with different things. So we were like, okay, let's take the best of both of those models and the Ranger model and what makes the most sense for us. And so I would say it was very entrepreneurial. I mean, we were figuring out what it means to be an operator while flying the airplane, while deploying, while going to schools, and defining all of it while doing it.
Hey, if you're asking why they just didn't copy us, I just explained that. That's a Marine thing. Like y'all were going through your growing pains.
There was great debate internally though. Should the model's right here, it's down on the strand. Just copy it. It obviously works. It has a lineage and history at this point.
It's
right?
proven.
Yeah,
just like you guys, it's proven.
Yeah, and then there was, the Green Beret has a compelling model as well. The Rangers have a compelling model as well. So I would say because I haven't been on the compound and I don't have all the badges and all the funny things anymore. That is probably just now getting solidified at this point. I would imagine.
So
there's blood on the ground already.
Well, now,
and once that started, I'm sorry.
If an 18-year-old coming out of high school wants to go into the Marine Special Forces, if they were doing that with the SEAL teams, they would try to get a contract.
Yep.
Is that available, or do you have to go into the Corps first, complete a certain amount of time, and then
Great
go
question. in? Last I heard, and I'm helping a fellow E8 SEAL who I was going to go on deployment with. We didn't get to go on deployment together, but that's another story for another time. His son is right now a Marine Infantryman, and he's put in that bare minimum amount of time. So you cannot get a contract off the street currently, best of my knowledge, today as we're recording this. You have to put in a minimum amount of time. You've got to get to E3, E4, and then you can start looking at taking assessment selection and going through the process. And then you have to do it. You have an expiration date on you as well. So you've got to thread this needle and get through that eye of the needle, before those two dates. And it seems to be somewhere between E4 and before E6. Yeah.
Dude, you know what that does? That creates a self-contract. A moral contract to yourself. If you put it in paperwork, you know what I mean? Yeah. When they do that to us, because as you progress through these levels, there's a confidence that comes with it. Yeah. That's what I call, living in the void. Right? When you're in the void, there's that stuff you don't know about, but you learn about. It's kind of like when you lift weights, you get strong, but then you get confident, and there's a bunch of stuff that comes with it. As we progress through the ranks, it's kind of an unspoken rule, and you can feel it. And when guys get through the programs, man, it's so motivating. When you see somebody getting through a program, you're like, oh, dude, okay, I can do that. I mean, it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So you were brand new in this. You were one of the pioneers with this. Were y'all augmenting with the SEAL teams and with Green Berets, or were you doing your own mission sets?
We were absolutely being fully integrated into SOCOM, and I got to be there during the mommy-daddy fights of SOCOM saying you're going to deploy here, and the Marine Corps saying no, we need you here, and getting to watch all of those things happen. So my team, which is like SEAL platoon size, was on the boat, and SOCOM came up over the top of the Marine Corps and said, why are you on the boat? We told you to be in Afghanistan. Get all your stuff and all your people off the boat. You're going to do it here. We logistically planned the first part. You need to do the second part and get the entire team to Afghanistan. That was my first deployment.
Oh my gosh. It was
a mess. Yeah, it was an absolute mess.
Oh my gosh.
We fell under an Army SOTF, I'm pretty sure, at the time, and they kind of didn't know what to do with us. We showed up late, right? We have a
oh yeah, big green machine. They run everything. Yeah,
we have all these different weird trucks and different things that they haven't had to deal with yet, right? We didn't have the kind of standard loadout of Green Berets or SEALs, so I think they kind of just told us, go out to Delaram and disrupt.
Yeah.
Disrupt the enemy, which is just a blanket statement to figure it out.
Just go be wild.
In the beginning, we had kill boxes.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
That's where you work the kinks out.
It is.
I mean, because remember in the beginning, you show up with everything. And then you realize as you're going through it, it's like, okay, it's not that you don't need it, you just don't have to use it right now.
Right.
And everything, you can always tell a guy about how slender his loadout is, right? He's got those.
That's what I was just going to bring up.
What works?
Oh yeah, I really needed this. This pouch was so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. Click, buy.
Yeah.
It's going to go right there.
Right there.
It's going to look so good.
I mean,
look at my pouch.
I can't even get to this one, but my buddy can, so it'll look cool from the back.
Snags on the door when you go through. Get this pouch off me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So being part of that beginning phase, did you get to help pick out stuff? Like actually declare what the gear would be? And
there was I would say like the big muscle movements in terms of what we're wearing and what we're calling ourselves, and like the big, what we call internally the big blue arrows. Those are done. Those come from top down. But in terms of clearing a room, in terms of how we do all the tactical level things, there was a lot of bottom up input, and there was some mid-level input of, we need to be called Raiders. This other thing that you're trying to call us, or these other names, like we're missing the opportunity to have the lineage tied all the way back to the World War II
I was going to ask
brothers.
y'all what y'all did about that.
Yeah.
And I was also wondering what it was like now when you're next to the flagpole. Because when we're on regular Navy bases, they know we're the bastards.
Right.
You know, and so I imagine, because in the Corps, y'all are real strict about that.
Yeah.
Like the sideburns, your uniforms.
None of that.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So y'all are still clean cut, like a Marine.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact quote, but it's essentially, we are Marines and we happen to do special operations.
Thank you. Okay, I preach that.
So go get a haircut.
I preach that about y'all.
Yeah.
I was like, and when those guys are in uniform and their haircut, even when they're out, I ran across a 96-year-old and a 101-year-old Marine, two colonels. You could shave with the crease in that dude's pants. Yeah. It was so tight. Yeah. I mean, he was khakied up with his gold on.
Yeah, the old breed.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sharp. When I stepped out and saw him, I was like, yeah. I just felt like a badass when he was sitting next to me.
Yeah.
Those guys are great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Still his hair all freaking...
Where does the name Raider come from?
So originally all the way back to World War II, you know, trying to press into the Pacific, press back on the Japanese who were literally just gobbling up island after island after island. Navy, Army, and Marine Corps were all trying to, we knew we needed commando units, I think was probably the term used back then, and everybody was trying to figure it out. I think jointly, we tried to figure it out for a while with the Scouts and Raiders, and then everybody just like, nah, we're doing our own thing. And then that's
got
where
big.
It all started to spring up. Yeah.
Just think in the beginning, Marines started out Scouts and Raiders when it was real small, because it is small. Then that's what their job was. They're the ones that took care of the problems, but it was so cool, it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you had to...
Marcus and I had, he died a few years ago, but we had a good friend, R.V. Bergen, that was a Marine, died at like 98 or something like that. He was really old. That kind of Marine that like still could put his uniform on, still wore his buckle and everything.
Shirt tucked in.
Yeah, we were able to go with him to the Battle of Peleliu, like
he was there for that.
Peleliu was. And Marcus carried him out of the boat. I mean, he's old. Carried him out of the boat and propped him up on the beach.
Dude, we went out over the water and came back in. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking, it's on the other side of the earth and it was all grown up and the jungle, but all the artillery and everything, it's frozen in time.
The pillboxes are still there, like
tank
all
treads,
of the stuff.
Rifles leaning against, swords leaning against the trees and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was like, hey, well, man, was this like this? He goes, no, we had scorched it.
Yeah, right.
And he goes...
He said
I don't want to mess the numbers up, but I thought it was 275. Might have been 250. He's like 250 Marines went in over on the knoll. 250 Marines came in right here, and 250 went in over there. Excuse me. And I'm screwing these numbers up, but it was something like none of them came out.
Yeah.
7 of us made it.
Yeah.
And something like 12 of them did.
Right.
It was on Orange Beach.
And we won, by the way.
And we won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that dude. Because what happened when they scored, they let the Marines get all the way in there. They were underground.
Oh, wow.
And
they were in tunnels. And they had poisoned all the water and all the water sources and killed everything, man. And then they came up behind them and around it. And he would sit there and tell me these stories about the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how well trained you are. If you don't have there's an attitude that goes with being a good fighter as well. And a Marine has a certain
different place.
Yeah, it takes you to a certain level.
Yeah.
And y'all get that. And I saw it. He was 98 years old, man, and the sharpest thing on him was his freaking eyes.
Man.
You know, you could tell.
Yeah.
And here's the cool part I love about the World War II guys and the Korea guys is the way they built.
Right? Spark plugs.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like us, we look like our action figures. He-Man and just muscled out. You can't even touch your hands together. These guys, just muscle and bone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
And can you imagine, like we were talking about, you know, pouches or whatever. Can you imagine doing all of that in like wool pants, leather boots, and
one
like
pair
cotton shirt?
How about all that? Our comfort level with our uniforms is something, but them guys was just
that's a whole nother level.
A whole level hard, man.
Just so hard.
And somebody said this. I was at a buddy of mine's house today, before this, and he was telling me his dad just passed yesterday, and he was talking about. And he goes, my dad told me this the other day. He goes, you know, you come from a long line of winners. Champions and warriors, because you wouldn't be here right now from everything we had to go through in the past.
Yeah.
Everything to get here. So we're not a line of wimps. Everyone down here is strong. You just have to be told, you have to be reminded.
Yeah.
And those guys are a stern reminder of how badass you can get.
Absolutely.
Well, Marines have some of the coolest history for military history buffs, and being able to like go back in time still to this day, like going to Peleliu, it's a really cool thing. If anybody has the opportunity to fly across the earth, lots of connections, connect in Hawaii, connect in Guam.
Way down there.
Yes.
Worth it though.
Yeah.
But there are commercial flights down there, and it's real cheap once you get there. But it
was the best vacation we ever had.
It is the coolest thing to be able to see living history, and it's all like all the memorials and everything are about Marines. It's really neat. So yeah, I love that.
The fact, so nothing to take away from it, but the fact that we had to go all the way down there to fight to whip somebody's ass,
Right.
is unbelievable.
Yeah. To find a little dot in the ocean.
And they just didn't fly down there like we did.
No.
At all.
No.
I mean,
they probably had no O2.
It took some time to get down there on those boats. Dude, you went and pissed off. They had to be pissed off by the time they were. That's probably why they made y'all ride on the boats. Get you good and pissed off by the time you got in there, man.
Yeah, you gotta get that energy out. Yeah, you gotta get that energy out.
Gosh. Well, that's cool that the name Raiders came from that lineage, because
So y'all still carrying that thing, right?
We are. Yeah, it was a fight to get it back. It was a fight to get a device. It was a fight to every step of it's been a fight. But the best things in life come through struggle, and so I feel like it's just another. It was its own selection, right?
Yeah.
So it was worth it.
So now that we're out, and I don't talk smack about the family, but then sometimes when you feel like now that we're out, you see the rank kind of transfers over to like family member size, and like some of the stuff that we would argue over, like why is that a problem?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why in the hell is that a problem?
Yeah. Why did that exist?
Yeah. Why
was that even a discussion?
I mean, it should have been. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's the difference? This is a really stupid question, I know, for y'all, but someone like me and other listeners that don't know military names, the difference between MARSOC and MARSOF.
Yeah, great question. MARSOF is just Marine Special Operations Forces to talk about the entire structure, and MARSOC is Marine Special Operations Command. So it's the command inside of.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like SOCOM to SEAL teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or Navy Special Warfare, right? And then each team.
Each team down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always been, but I've never known anyone
So
that.
did y'all stream? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, you're my first Marine Special
First Raider to
Forces.
ruin the room?
First Raider
man.
to enter here. So
Gotta leave something on the
you
wall.
gotta sign the wall.
Okay.
It's just tough to keep up with y'all because you're 4th Battalion, 5th Marine Division. This, I mean,
yeah.
it's,
Bunch of funny numbers.
and when you get in, it's tough enough to learn the language, anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the young ones, they don't speak multiple languages like we do. You actually had to send us to war to figure that out.
Yeah.
And then it made sense when we were in there. But other than that, I don't know anybody who crosses the streams like that.
Yeah. Very true.
One of Marcus's best friends from college, they would train to go into the military together. And he went Marines, and Marcus went into the SEAL teams. And when Red Wing happened, he saw the brotherhood and the just
Same
the camaraderie
Yeah.
and that was 2005, so it would have been before y'all's time. But he was like, nope, I want to be that. Like how you said, like I want to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
He was the same thing, and he did transfer over. He went through buds at however old,
Still around.
29 years
Still
old.
doing it.
I think 29 or 28 when he went through.
That's when he went through. Got his ass handed to him, but he took it.
Yeah.
But
Because his body kept giving up. His body wouldn't keep up.
Yeah. He was good here.
Good. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's real good there.
Yeah.
But he made it through, and he's still in the SEAL teams.
That's cool.
He's
Yeah,
freaking bad.
and-
Dude, he's as big as
Yeah.
he's a unique individual. There's no one like Tommy.
Yeah.
But if he would have stayed in the Marines, I guarantee
Oh, yeah.
you, he would have been with
Yes.
you.
Oh, he'd been with you.
Yeah.
Y'all
Sounds
didn't
like
exist. That's why he went over.
Yeah. It sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were right. You are right time, right place. There's got to be a name.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally. Luck, man.
Have y'all
Lucky,
named
right?
yourselves as like the pioneer kind of group or team, whatever you call that? Like, do you have like a name for
the plank
yourselves?
owners.
Yeah, like a
Plank owners.
owner?
Yeah. Loosely, I could.
How many of there were you?
I don't know.
Yeah, check.
Yeah, I don't know. I was so worried about not screwing up my job, quite honestly, and keeping my place on the team. I was pretty narrowly focused right here. Yeah.
You don't think about that either.
Yeah.
I mean, even when we talk about it, it's a mind. For whatever reason, the rank holds a mindset too. Because the minute you try to out-mindset your rank, the guy walks in with the more rank and is like, hey.
Yeah. Settle down, little
Settle
fella.
down, feller. I mean, that's the way it works.
Yeah.
Age and then that rank. And it's a powerful, the discipline in the military, not only what we do on the ground, but that you learn just by sight, like sight discipline. One of my buddies, his term is the eyes eat first. So when something walks in the door, especially with military guys, we're trained to see it. Like from a fighter with cauliflower ears or big knuckles, or the way he carries himself to
what's on your waistline.
Period. Yep, just like that.
Are you feeling that cold and flu season approaching? Well, GoodRx has you covered. With amazing savings on prescriptions and health tips, we're here to help you and your loved ones. Go discover how easy it is with GoodRx. You can save up to 80% at your local pharmacy. Just go to the website or app, choose the best deal, and show your discount at the pharmacy. It's just that simple. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like your CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Sam's Club, and so many more. They go with you to wherever you want to go. You can also do this with or without insurance. GoodRx often beats your copay prices if you do have insurance. It is all about prioritizing your health and your savings, so go give it a look. Join the millions already saving with GoodRx. Go be that game changer in your healthcare savings journey. If you're ready to take on cold and flu meds and everyday prescriptions, go act now. Visit goodrx.com/TNQ. And your well-being is just a click away. Start saving today at goodrx.com/TNQ.
Yeah.
So how long did you do before you transferred?
So I did 10 years in the infantry, and then I did 10 years at MARSOC.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good run.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
So do Marines get out mostly at 20? Or do y'all you got stragglers who stay in?
I would say it's like every other branch. You're gonna lose a bunch kind of like midterm, right? At like the 13. Like if they're gonna be an operator, they've got to do a minimum of like 4 years just to get the opportunity to go to selection, and then they're gonna do like another 4. So they're gonna be like 8 to 13 years. So you got that cohort of guys getting out, and then you've got the other ones who are like 20 and then 32 and all the others. Yeah.
I don't think y'all should change that, personally.
What do you mean?
The standards, how long you have to stay in before you can get in.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it's a kind of a maturity thing.
It really is. And
I know the SF tried it, the SF babies, because that was my time too. And I came in on a contract.
Yep.
Here's a piece of paper. I was like, there's nothing on it. No, they're like, don't worry, there will be. So like, I didn't have a choice. I mean, I had to make it.
Yeah.
And the instructors are great about pointing that out. They're like, hey, you guys can go anywhere else, but here, we really don't want you. And they would actually say that,
it's wide open.
Hey, someone, so-and-so, there's a phone call for you. It's that ship out there. They want you to get on. Crap like that, man. Yeah. Our guys are
the
fantastic.
USS Peleliu.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm messing with you. Our family can mess with you, man. They're brilliant at it.
Yeah.
But then you realize if you're not getting messed with, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And they solidified that with war.
Yep.
With us for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 friggin' years, man. Two of them.
So when you got out, what was your idea? What were you going to do?
I had no idea.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And when did that start? Did you just plan on finishing out and then doing whatever?
I was fully committed to 20 years. And I found a lovely lady at some point during all of that, and her and I had to make a decision, are we going to take these orders in North Carolina? I was pretty much guaranteed the next rank, and I was going to get a lot of opportunities. But North Carolina and a few other things were a bit of a deal breaker for her and I, and it was just a great opportunity for me to get to step away at a high point. Mm-hmm. And I was starting to get to those sitting behind a desk a lot, and there weren't a lot of good days anymore. It was a lot of shuffling nonsense and having conversations like you said earlier. Why is this even a conversation, let alone a problem? So it was a good time to step away at the 20-year mark. And I had once her and I kind of started making those decisions, I started looking at my peers and the guys that I looked up to, and I'm like, okay, now I need to focus. Instead of focusing on being the best breacher or sniper possible, I need to focus on what does transition look like. And so I started looking at those guys, the guys I respect, and see how their transition's going, and start asking hey, what are you doing? What's this foundation?
Because we didn't have that.
What is
there's
this?
There's not a formula for that.
Yeah.
We had to invent that too.
Yeah. And you're just looking to your peers. You're making it up, as you go. And so I started really kind of at the 18-year mark. I knew I was pretty much done. 20 was going to be it. And so I gave myself runway because I knew that was important. Yeah. I at least got that part right. And so then I just started doing the little things I could fit in of the little different foundations and the things that are on base and all of that stuff to just trying to start to figure it out. But I still had no clue, like none, right? Because how do you go from the only thing that you know you've spent? Yeah, at that point, I had spent as much of my time, my literal life in the military as I had on the planet. Mm-hmm. So what do you do after that? So there's a lot of great foundations out there, really good Americans now doing really good work. And I'm very thankful to every single one I went through. And then I went through the Honor Foundation and I was completely blown away and learned very quickly. I still had no clue and I had a lot of work to do.
What made you want to go through the Honor Foundation? It
was looking at my peers, the guys I respected. One of my commanders was one of the first ones that got to go through in San Diego. In one of the very first where they opened it up to Raiders. And he just said, look, it's hands down the best experience you're going to have. And so however you build your transition plan, like the min force for your mission of transition is going to be the Honor Foundation, period. If you have time for all the other stuff, great. But if you don't, your min force to make this infill, to make this transition is the Honor Foundation. Yeah, so I went.
Awesome.
That's how it works with us.
Yeah.
You can advertise all you want, man. Yeah. And then guys will say some stuff, but then you'll see them. And then as soon as something catches with us, it's wildfire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And especially when it's a guy you've gone down range with. That's like a whole nother level of like, oh, I'm going to do that.
That kind of tax at home.
Yeah.
When you see that.
Yeah.
So did you think, I mean, in your mind, because I'm just thinking someone that's had a career military since they were 18 years old, mm-hmm. When you get out, are you thinking, okay, I want to go work in an office or I want to start my own business mm-hmm. or what was your mindset on that?
Not a single guy I've met says I want to go work in an office.
Yeah.
They may say I want to go to JP Morgan Chase and make baller dollars.
Yeah.
Corner office.
Yeah.
American Psycho out,
all of it. The whole bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
of course they do.
They're working on it, right?
You got to anticipate that from our guys. For sure.
A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of I have no clues, a lot of guys who are still passionate about being good Americans and saying, why do we have a border problem? Mm-hmm. How can I get involved to solve that? Why do we have, why do we have children at risk? How can I help solve that? Why were there shootings in schools? How can I help solve that? Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys start to tend towards those things because it's a natural transition of their skill sets. It's a natural transition of who they already are, wanting to be good citizens of these United States. And I would say that's where they kind of tend towards.
So does the Honor Foundation help with that?
Great question. It is fully designed for you to explore all of those opportunities and try on all those different hats, literally in a safe space. It's kind of like being on the square bay with your team and you're doing dry drills and all you want to do is go live in the house. Nope. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You need to pull the weapon, drive from the holster.
Nobody likes to do that.
Get it on target.
Yeah, but you got to
go slow at first. Yeah. Get the reps, get the sets in. So essentially we try and do the exact same thing. It's a crawl, walk, run methodology. Let them explore JP Morgan Chase opportunities. Let them explore being at a tech company, whatever that looks like, from entrepreneur, brand new small startup companies to the behemoths like Google or Apple or whatever else.
Because we have operators in there now.
We do.
Everywhere.
Yes.
I was talking since when my brother became a congressman, I was like, hey, I think that when you go into the Marine Corps and then you get out of boot camp and you do 4 years, that's a degree. And then the Navy and the Air Force is 6 years. Coast Guard is 10, right? You always pick on them. But you're exactly right. In the last, at 16 years, if you did your GI Bill, whatever, then you go to college. I mean, I want you in freaking board shorts, flip-flops, and a Hawaiian shirt unbuttoned in class at almost 40 years old. Absolutely. If you don't have any other way to go, we'll educate you, man. And then enough guys now, it's kind of like our union. We don't have one, but we do.
Right, yeah.
You understand?
Very true.
Very true.
Very true, yeah.
So now that our guys are getting stabilized, because we would never invite our guys into something, maybe one of them, so we wouldn't suffer in silence.
Sure.
We need to suffer together.
Buddy team it.
That's absolutely right.
Where's my swim buddy?
Here we go. And then, but after these guys have stabilized everything, then the guys are coming in.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yep.
So when you say it's a crawl, walk, run, what
Yeah.
are they doing? What is that process?
So let me back up just a little bit. So it's an executive style education, and it's 3 months long. We recognize they have a really busy day job being a SEAL, being a Green Beret, being a Marine Raider, being a Air Force PJ CCT, and we bring them in the evenings 2 nights a week. So usually like a Tuesday, Thursday, because Monday sucks. So why do anything on Monday? Bring them in on a Tuesday or Thursday, right?
Yeah.
We open the doors on our physical campuses. We have 8 of them. We open the doors around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., serve them dinner because they're coming straight from work and they haven't had time to eat anything good probably all day. They've just been dipping and eating jerky or something all day, right?
That's supplements.
That is, and supplements.
Yeah. Which that's part of the supplement.
And it's part of the supplement package. Right.
The Copenhagen and the jerky is a real thing.
Back it all down with some protein.
That's it.
And so we feed them a good dinner. And during dinner, breaking bread, what they won't know maybe at the beginning is they're breaking bread next to a CEO. Yeah. There's a tech entrepreneur over here. There's someone from insurance over here. There's a lawyer over here. And they can just have these natural conversations. And so now they can start to, what's it like being a lawyer? What's it like being in tech? And like, what is tech? So that's just a big umbrella term. That there's a lot of space underneath that umbrella. Yeah. And they get to have all these conversations. And then from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we pull them into the classroom and we grind over material. And the big differentiator of who we are at the Honor Foundation and what we do is that the entire first phase has nothing to do with LinkedIn, resumes, or any of that. We make these dudes figure out who they are again. Who is Michael? Right? Who is Marcus? Who are you when no one cares about rank anymore? No one cares about sniper school anymore. No one cares that you can free fall. They want to know who you are. And before you can tell them that, you have to know who you are. And you have to be able to articulate that well. You're not a used car salesman. You just have to be able to talk about yourself without saying F this and, with a dip in and sunglasses on the head.
It took me forever to get over that.
All those things, right?
It took me forever to get over that.
I feel like that would be really hard for the guys to just be able to talk about themselves because they're used to talking about their friends or talk somebody else up. But
we don't talk about ourselves.
Yeah,
I was talking about the Copenhagen and the sunglasses.
Well, that too. That too.
It took me forever to get over that too.
Is that a struggle that you see?
Absolutely, because they showed up to get their resume and get a network and then get going, right? Because we go to schools, we get through them as quickly as possible. We make them as short and quick as possible to get back into the fight.
But the ones we have to go through like that, the earned ones, that's a different kind of respect.
It is. Like
it's a qual.
So full month.
When you get out of there, guys know when they put those long schools.
Yeah.
Like the 3 month ones. 6 months.
They're a grind. Yeah.
And so that's why when the guys get out of them and that we give them a tab or they get something that when you recognize, you're like, oh, he put work in, which is respect.
Yep.
So when they go through, they're going into your building for a full month.
Yep.
And then what's the
So 3 months. The whole first month is just about them.
Oh, okay.
Them figuring themselves out. So we use Simon Sinek's Start With Why. We use Gallup Strengths. We use Career Builder. And when you start to layer those things on top of each other, they can't use acronyms anymore. And they have to start upping their vocabulary.
Yeah, boxes them out.
Yeah.
That's those personality tests and stuff, right?
It is.
Yeah. Now I know why Haley loves working there. Haley, for the listeners, Haley is my little sister. She's my mini-me, but she rocks. She does. We love her
she's
to death.
Badass.
Yes.
She freaking loves those tests. At every Thanksgiving, every time
Take this test.
We are always.
I feel like every holiday, the guys in our family get these weird examinations.
What does this mean?
Now
What does this mean?
And they're all watching and judging, and just like you say something, and then it's like,
I dare you.
Every single time.
You know what I'm talking about?
It makes
See?
complete sense to me now why Haley loves the Honor Foundation because she is so obsessed with those tests.
Yeah.
That's
She's
so
getting
fun.
good at it, too.
Before she worked at the Honor Foundation, she has always been like that. And like trivias and getting
She
to know.
takes every single Facebook quiz, I bet.
That one. She's that one.
She's not on Facebook, but if she was, she would. Yeah. That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what the second phase is.
So that's all phase one.
Oh, that's all phase
Let's
one.
help you
Gosh.
figure yourself out
Yeah.
again. right? When no one cares about the quals and the rank and all of those things, who are you again? And how do you talk about yourself? So all of it's designed to help them really dig through the hard shit, because none of that's easy. And we make them talk about feelings. We make them talk about the stuff that actually scares them and say it out loud in front of a peer, you know, a group of their peers of 30 plus other dudes who are all going, yeah, me too. Like this scares the shit out of me. I'd rather just go back on deployment. Like I don't want to deal with any of this. Right. But when you help them work through it together and you make them put in the work, the guys that really do it and just dive in, man, the difference on the other end. And then they go into phase 2, which is also a full month. Then we start doing LinkedIn. Then we start doing resumes. And think about how much different a resume or LinkedIn looks when you have a different way of talking about yourself and not relying on scuba qual, free fall, like all of these things. You can say, I'm good at coordinating, and I know I'm good at coordinating, you know, logistics plans, because even though I didn't work in logistics, I moved men, equipment, and millions of dollars of material all over the globe, and synchronized it so everything arrived on time to get critical missions done.
You know what that is? That's an eval.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, because our leadership, they do that for us. We don't even mess with that. And the only reason I know this is because I made enough rank to get to this part. And everything that you said, so if it says sniper on his header right there, and then everything that goes into being a sniper, somebody's lined that out already. But they shortened it to the word sniper, and people know what goes with that, but they don't know about the patience, the discipline, the ability to capture something, an image in your mind, and I mean, there's so much that goes into that. Not only can I capture an image in my mind, I can tell you about it when I'm not even looking at you, and if you can understand it, I can describe it a different way. And then when you correlate distances to certain things, as most people can't pick up distance, it's like, hey, that's 100 yards. You know how far that is? No. I was like, that's a football field. You know how far that is? Yes, I do. And there's those intervals that we don't think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
They do that for us.
Yep. Yep. So we get them to dive into the mission planning specifically, because that's where the gold is, because that absolutely every company needs someone to be able to do mission planning, because that's all the beans, bullets, and band-aids. It's all moving this stuff around, and it's all the leadership stuff that we learned that we don't realize because we just do it, and we've been around it all the time. And we don't realize the value that we've been learning over all of that.
Was it
time.
like some Miyagi training, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Got wax on, wax off, man.
Got you doing this, but this
why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
So many people don't get Marcus's...
he does.
I know. But that's why I said that, because so many people are like, what is Miyagi training? And I'm like, Mr. Miyagi's
something you need.
They're out there. They hear me. They know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So we get them to figure themselves out, and we help them, right? We don't let them flounder there. We help them. We provide, we put rules in the road, right, to make sure that things are going well. We also pair them with a coach. So they've got to check in with a civilian coach once a week who's a business professional that's been vetted through our system to make sure that they're good humans, good Americans, and all those things. And then they can give them a civilian, like, no bullshit. Like, I don't know what you're telling me right now.
Yeah.
I don't care what a sniper is. Explain it to me. Like, I don't know, because you're going to have to do that at company X. Or if you're going to start your own company, you've got to explain the value of it. So it helps them all the way through that. Figure themselves out. Now you can get it all essentially on paper and get it in LinkedIn. Now you can start to broadcast your message, who you are, who you're trying to become. And then in phase 3, another essentially full month, we expose them to opportunity. And so if you know who you are and you have the ability to kind of get in and through a hiring funnel, and we expose you to opportunity, now you can really start to try on all these different hats. We're getting ready to do this right now with the current cohorts. All 8 are going to go to Dallas, Charlotte. I'm going to be going up to Seattle with JBLM campus, and we'll see about 3 companies a day. They invite us in, and we spend about an hour and a half with them. Some of them, like the first one we'll do breakfast with, the middle one we'll do lunch with, and we usually end it with like a cocktail networking thing at the end. And now they get to see the inside of all these different companies. And we're not going to just little companies that you've never heard of. We go to Google's, we go to SpaceX's, we go to Ford Motor Companies and Cargill's and all kinds of stuff that they've heard of, lots of things they haven't heard of. So they can start to go,
that's the big thing, what you haven't heard of.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Like I think these are my people. I could see myself working in this environment. And then it really starts to ramp up, especially for, like I said, the guys that really dig in and just go all in on it. Yeah.
Oh, your purpose shows up.
It does.
And that was the biggest thing I couldn't capture when I got out.
Yeah.
What you're talking about, the hook. When I saw that, I everything, my mind, my body, and my spirit lined up, and I was like, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
And then when they transfer us out, it's like a holding. You think it's not, but it is. Like there is hey, let me just relax for a second. I've heard someone say it's like when we went to the military, it's like walking into the gym, and then we had all 20 years in there working out. So when you come out of there, man, you're going to be sore, mind, body, and spirit for a few years.
Yep, absolutely.
Not 4 days.
Absolutely.
I'm talking about like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And if you don't have somebody telling you that, I mean, guys are wrecked.
Yeah. Hey, if you're getting ready to transition, for anybody listening, if you're getting ready to transition, you cannot do it overnight. And it's not gonna happen just because you got a job.
Yeah, you didn't get in there overnight.
Actually, the job actually has less to do with it than you actually think. The reality is you're gonna have to struggle with who you are, who your community is, how to make sense of the world, purpose and meaning in life for a while.
So do you think it's better for guys to...
No, that's your mind. That needs to, like, that's a brilliant statement.
It's just the truth.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I've gotten to do this now for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've had to do it myself, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm fully comfortable as Michael.
Yeah.
Right. Not Master Sergeant whoever, not my nickname Halty, but really just me. So.
Prepare for a holiday season filled with the "whoa, where'd you get that?" type of moments, courtesy of Uncommon Goods. Their knack for finding unique gifts is nothing short of remarkable. I'm not kidding. I have ordered from them 3 times in the past few weeks because they have the best gift ideas for my friends. It's kind of like the stuff that you didn't know that you need until you have it, and then it just makes life so much easier, which I found out makes the best gifts for people. They offer everything from art and jewelry to kitchen essentials, home decor, really cool barware, and so many other things. So don't miss out on this extraordinary holiday season. Go visit uncommongoods.com/TNQ for an exclusive 15% discount on your next gift. This is a limited time offer, so act fast. Go visit uncommongoods.com/TNQ, where we're all about the extraordinary.
Knowing that, do you think it's better for someone to wait when they get out to go to the Honor Foundation and have some time
great question.
to really figure out where they want to be and all of that kind of stuff? Or
what we absolutely advocate for, because we recognize the reality of most of the guys coming out of special operations have some pretty significant financial responsibilities, mortgages, kids, that Raptor they bought with a bonus, and they're still paying for somehow because they also bought a bunch of guns.
Boom. Jet skis.
So they need a job, right? So what we advocate for, the best time to get a job is when you have a job. So come to the Honor Foundation about 18 months before you're getting out. And if you're before that, right, med boards happen, all kinds of weird things happen, a deployment pops up, and like we get it. But 18 months is kind of a sweet spot. Come through the Honor Foundation. And now you have a skill set for making better decisions about what's next for you and your family going into this next phase of your life. So most of them are coming through with families. So we advocate for that. And then if you can fit anything else in, do it. Do all of it. It's like going to 31 flavors and getting one ice cream.
Like a lot.
Try them all.
Yeah, man.
Like Morgan and a lot of the SEALs that we know, especially the officers, have gone right after to that Harvard program that they have. Do you think it's better to do something like that and then go to Honor Foundation, or do you help them get into a school?
Great question. So ultimately, we want to see them 18 months, and then by the time they get done with 3 months of us, they've got 15 months left, and the decision-making skills we're giving them helps them adapt to whatever they want to do next. They're going to have a better ability to decide whether or not they even want to go to Harvard, or if they want to be an entrepreneur, or if they have no clue at all. It starts to help make sense of it so that they can start going in some sort of direction and not start floundering completely.
Yeah, the mindset. You got to shift the mindset.
Yep.
That's what that is. Once you get transitioned in, you're even if you're trying to look at something else, you're still thinking about it in that way. Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest part about having someone over you that's been through it. So, hey, look, because we speak the language.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can just sit there and tell somebody over and over again, but then for whatever reason, someone will walk in and he'll say it. Someone's like, oh, why don't you leave with that?
Yeah. Why don't you just start with that, man? We've been here for an hour.
Come on.
So do you have like a big, I mean, the military is big on graduations and tradition and all of that kind of stuff. Do y'all have a big graduation?
Those things are important. Absolutely. We absolutely do. It starts hard, just like all the good things do. It gets easier towards the middle as you start to level up, like you were saying earlier. And at the end, you've earned something, and that should be meaningful to you. You freaking know it. Yeah. And so we'll graduate all 8 campuses here. Man, we're getting really close. We're only like probably a month or less away from all of them graduating. And we have board members show up. We have CEOs show up. We have really good speakers come give a commencement speech. Love to have somebody in particular come and show up if he's got time. He's got a busy calendar. I get it. And deliver some words of meaning, and then come walk across stage, get a firm handshake that you earned something, and a plaque that means something to you.
Oh, that's cool.
That's how you know. Yeah. It's not the plaque. I mean, it is. Mm-hmm. That's so you can walk away with something. But ultimately what it is someone sitting across from you and acknowledging the fact that you did something.
And then it's hard work.
It's hard work. That's in the military, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like those little pins and everything, they don't mean anything, but what that signifies, that human is a big deal. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what branch you're in, there's some of those insignias we recognize immediately.
Yeah.
So one time when I went to go visit Haley in San Diego, I got to go to y'all's office.
Yes.
And nobody was there, but she showed me around, and it is awesome.
Thank you.
It's really cool. Yeah. It looks like a modern team room.
Just
really.
Like it should, right?
I mean,
it's a privilege to work there.
It really is. Really cool.
Yeah.
Y'all have created a really awesome space.
Thank you.
Are all of your campuses like that?
That is our flagship.
Okay.
That is the headquarters campus. It was the very first. It's the only piece of property we own. We're subleasees, but we're going to be there for as long as possible. All the others, so we are a nonprofit, so we're kind of borrowing and stealing when we have to. No, we don't steal. But we have made some really good relationships with some of our corporate partners. So some of the amazing companies who have partnered with us let us come in and use their training spaces. So we have some beautiful spaces from like Encino and a couple of other big partners. And then we've also partnered with some community colleges. Cool. So like the Tacoma campus is brand new, and we're still trying to build support there. So we're actually in a community college there, and like Virginia Beach and a couple other places.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So where are your campuses? You said you have 8.
Yep. So San Diego was first. Then we went to Virginia Beach. Then we went down. So that was taking care of East Coast, West Coast SEAL teams and SWCC teams. Make sure they were covered first. The whole design of the program was to always get to all special operators. And the reason that happened that way is because none of this would happen without Navy SEAL Foundation. They've done a tremendous job in being a founding partner for us. Mm-hmm. And after that, Marine Raider Foundation, we got a really good relationship with them. That allowed us to open in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. And now all Marines have moved there. All MARSOC Marines have moved there. So that kind of just seals the deal there. Yeah. So that's like the one campus.
There's a big lawsuit going on for Camp Lejeune. I get these texts.
Oh man!
The
water thing. Yeah.
Like, were you pregnant at Camp Lejeune? I've never been to Camp Lejeune.
Right. Yeah.
That's why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
I've literally never been there, and I get a text a day almost on Camp Lejeune. That's so funny. So Camp Lejeune. What else?
And then we opened a virtual campus because we recognized we couldn't get everywhere right away. You've got guys, on recruiting duty and all these weird different spots. So how do we and you got guys all the way in Hawaii and then all the way out in Europe with 10th Group. So how do you kind of service everybody? We went online in 2019, which was fortuitous. Like, talk about luck and timing yet again.
Seriously.
And then in 2020, we just pivoted all 4 campuses online, and we already had a proof of concept. We had what campuses were already doing it. So it was just, all right, turn the lights on for everybody and let's go. So we actually served more people in 2020 than we did in 2019 because we just knew how to do it. Yeah.
How about that? 20
Yeah.
lockdown.
Yeah.
2020, that was crazy. So how many successes do you have out of between the people that come and show up day one in a class? How many are actually graduating?
We are just over 2,200 alumni and growing rapidly. We have about 300 in cohort right now, so we'll graduate them and add them to the alumni pool. Of that, the high water mark that we hold for ourselves internally is being fulfilled. And being fulfilled is a couple different things. I'll explain that in a minute. Being fulfilled before you hit 90 days end of service. And being fulfilled can be whatever that person decides they want to do next. Not what they have to do, but deciding really what they want to do next for the next opportunity. So that could be going to school, that could be getting a job in corporate, that could be being an entrepreneur, that might even be a guy going, you know what? I've not taken a knee in 20 years. It's time for me to take a knee, and I have financial runway, and I'm going to take a sabbatical. And so we have guys that do that, and then anything else you can think of, guys are doing it because we open them up to the opportunities and give them the tools to be able to go do it.
Yeah.
At no time do we tell them what to do. We empower them to go do what they want to do.
So what are y'all's needs?
Time, talent, and treasure. That is the need of every nonprofit, right? So if you can donate some of your time, if you're a professional and you've been doing something, regardless of, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, if you've been doing it for quite a while and you're good at it and you're an American who cares and want to help veterans, we would love to get some of your time. We have coaching opportunities. You can be a mentor. We have opportunities to come speak just about what it is to be, in tech or whatever else. We're looking for talent. Talent's a little bit bigger of an ask. We'd like you to, coaching is a little bit of a commitment. You're going to one-to-one pair with a transitioning operator, and we're going to ask you for 1 hour a week to make yourself available so the two of you can have a 1 hour conversation about how are things going. How much does phase one suck? Because they made you talk about your feelings. Yeah. How's it going? And work through all of those things. And then if you have treasure, we would really appreciate the treasure, because none of this is, you do not do nonprofit work well at a high level without money.
Do you ever see yourself turning into a for-profit and partnering with like Google and different places to actually sponsor y'all, like where a certain amount of your graduates go there or whatever? I don't know, somehow turning it from nonprofit to for-profit.
In the foreseeable future, I would say absolutely not. I think we can achieve everything that we need to through nonprofit means. And look, nonprofit, a 501c3 is what we're designated as, is a IRS tax filing that simply states, as long as someone else is not inuring themselves, that we're not paying board members and someone's not earning shares, you can make money in nonprofit. It's what you do with the money you make that really matters. If you're driving it right back into the company to then continue to help the transitioning individual, that's doing the right thing.
It's just so hard to raise money.
Once that thing grows.
Yeah.
We've been in the nonprofit world, and it is so hard to raise money.
It is.
Constantly hitting the ground.
Yeah.
If you catch the niche.
Yeah.
Because if people are looking to, because that'll always be there.
Yep.
What they want to put it into is a little different.
Sure.
So if there's something that produces, we talked about this earlier. Like if you know that works, people will just okay.
Yeah.
I'll get not kind of works. That sucker works.
Yep. So it's why I'm in Houston today. That's why I came to Texas. It's we're here hitting the pavement with the team, raising dollars, and thank you, Houston. You're good Americans. We raised some good money.
Sponsors? Do you want to plug any of the Houston sponsors?
Off the top of my head, I just got to thank Mr. Malcolm Stewart.
Yes, he's awesome.
Malcolm Stewart is the chairman of the board for the everything that happens in Houston, bringing in his personal network and the amount of great work that he's done for us, bringing in other great Americans has been tremendous, and I can't thank him enough. Malcolm
Stewart is Camden.
Yes.
And we have known him since 2011. He got involved in one of our golf tournaments, and he is the nicest guy. Can't say enough nice things about him.
You got him?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Great guy.
And then Greg Vogel, he was the MC last night. Tremendous, just great American. General Scott Miller was there and was the keynote speaker, and it was just, we're very fortunate and blessed to have great Americans like that.
I have to say someone, because Cotton was there last night in attendance, and Cotton in Houston, they do so much for the city, and they never ever advertise the name. They're never
They've done so much for my family. I mean, you can't even believe it.
Oh yeah,
the guy who started those guys.
Yeah.
Man.
They never look for a pat on the back or anything, but they do so much. It was actually Hunter's first job out of college.
Oh wow.
Was with Cotton and Pete Bell.
They don't even sponsor us, man. I plug them.
I know they do not sponsor us at all, but they are just good people. If your building catches on fire or floods, freaking call Cotton Industries.
I mean, you would talk.
They are awesome.
Best.
I got to see all of them last night.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I
can't hang out with them anymore. Too much fun, dude. I'm married. I grew up with them, man. They're great.
Yeah.
They do like to have fun.
They do like to have. They're a good time.
We unfortunately couldn't make it last night. I really wanted to see my family, but you had a great group of people supporting y'all.
Yes.
So we're very grateful for that, and grateful for all those people who donated and will continue to donate to the Honor Foundation.
Yes.
Do you want more big businesses like the Texans or different NFL teams?
Absolutely. Because look, as the guys are making decisions, they're in, usually the question I get asked is, well, where do the guys end up? What are the industries they kind of hone in on? And we kind of identified it earlier in the conversation. I mean, we've got one at Apple, we've got two at SpaceX, we've got dozens creating their own companies, we've got silent professionals creating podcasts and doing it really well because they're talking about being men of character and they're putting out a positive message. And so they're doing, and they're going to Yale and Harvard, and really the schools are taking a step back going, why aren't we recruiting more of these students?
I couldn't understand with the companies either. As if you had any idea what just a veteran was, it's a highly trained asset that not only that, you can train and it learns and knows how to learn and is disciplined. You automatically know that. That's where you should recruit from first.
Yeah.
It's another university in itself, especially if you get some more fighters.
Yep. And they're culture carriers. Like if you're in a company right now and you're having a hard time fixing the culture of your company, bring in
put one of them suckers in there.
Put a special operations veteran in there, get some veterans in there, and watch the culture change. All you have to do is be willing to look at a resume you don't understand and take a chance. You're doing that anyway with the resumes you think you understand. So take a chance on a veteran and watch what happens.
Sure. You want to become a millionaire? Put a group of them suckers that know each other together.
That's it.
That have worked together.
That's it. And we know it works.
And challenge them, like dare them.
And we know it works.
I don't think you can get that, and get out of their way.
Yeah. And we know it works. Look what happened at the end of World War II. Look, they're called the greatest generation, and all of us agree. Why? They went to war and they defeated pure evil and liberated millions of people from oppression. You know what? We always stop right there. That was only half the story.
Yeah.
They came home and they got to work. They created some companies that are still around, by the way, who have been helping other American families for decades, for coming up on a century here shortly. Yeah. And so we know this works. Yeah.
We're losing them guys too.
We are.
Yeah.
The last Easy Company guy just died.
Yeah, I heard that.
I know everybody felt that one, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think what y'all are doing is great. One more question. I know we've gone long on this, but what about the companies that do have interest, but they don't know how to communicate or how to translate the guys? Do you have training for the HR on
great question.
How to hire guys?
Absolutely.
How to work your service dog.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I would say if you're a business professional out there right now and you're hearing this and you're wondering, okay, well, how do I get involved? Go to honor.org, literally HONOR.org, honor.org. There's several spaces where all you got to do is put in your email address and we'll contact you right away. And we'll be more than happy to talk you through One, it costs you nothing. We do it completely for free, 100% for free. If you're trying to figure out how to stand up your veteran ERG, or you're trying to get the first veterans into your company, we are happy to talk you through how to do all of that. And if you're looking for a ready-made talent pool that graduates somewhere between 600 people a year who are ready to go to work immediately, we want to be the talent pool for you. And it's completely free of charge.
It tested too.
Tested.
You're talking about like a road tested model.
Absolutely.
Not you just buy off the lot and be like, I just got this out of college and see what I think I can do. Hey, not only is it brand new and not refurbished, this sucker's been. It's not that we run a different process.
Yeah.
I was like, I always look at the military and everything, the wars and everything, is that was just hammering it was with defining and molding you into what you are.
Yep.
And then this part tells you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then go do whatever it is you're supposed to do.
Yep.
I mean, God's got you, man.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming all the way out here after a big event last night.
Yeah.
And I hope it was successful.
It was very successful. Thank you, Houston.
Good.
Yes.
Our people are great.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming down, and thank you guys for listening in. We will see you guys next week.
This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.